The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois for the 21st race of action on this 2017 United Sim Racing PNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series. Tonight, just a little bit different. However, when we left you just 1 week ago, we were wrapping things up on making sure we knew who the 12 championship drivers would be. And the first step in the road to that title begins right here and right now. It is the opening round of the chase. The first of 3 races before we get set for elimination cuts. And it is going to be pretty much on to it from this point on. I think the strategy is going to be a little bit different as we go through these rounds, as we welcome you into the LSRTV booth. Myself, Evan Pasoko, alongside Austin Coop. Downstairs, the lovely and talented Cisco Scarmoza. But Coop, in these opening rounds, I think you can still take it a little bit easy as far as points racing, if you will. But as we go into round 2, and then round 3 all the way through that winner-take-all season finale at Homestead, once the number of trucks begins to dwindle down, the available spots to advance going to go down as well, and I think that that's when things are going to get really interesting. So, not to take away from this opening round, because in a couple of weeks' time, a couple of guys are going home, but I think that we're going to see some very different dynamics over the course of the next couple of months.
Yeah, and the lovely thing about these chases and playoffs is the fact that drivers that may have had some bad luck towards the middle of the season just weren't able to regroup and come back. They're set. Everyone gets 1,000 points. First to 12, they have the same amount of points. That's what this league has wanted and has got. And some of those drivers were quite behind towards the 12th and 11th place, and they were. They had if it was going to be just a points race at the finish, there was absolutely no chance for them to get a championship in any way. So for those guys, it's the second chance. It's a revival for themselves, and even for those guys in the middle of it. I mean, that's it's a big thing to get 400 points to get back with the leader. So I think a lot of those guys sort of the back of the points list from the end of the regular season. They're going to run hard. I think they're going to try and run hard, and they have all season.
And there aren't very many series, on iRacing that run this long of a season. We see, a long season on Monday nights with our RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, but 20 races is a lot to get through it. I'm sure that, the drivers who sneak in those bottom couple of positions will very much take the points reset, because as we take a look at your championship standings through 20 races, it might as well be through none, because it is a dead tie, top to bottom. All of these drivers have been balanced out at 1,000 points, but for all intended purposes, you're basically starting from scratch. Aaron Bennett, Dwayne Dunn, Greg Mall, Jamie Walker, and Justin Kleber, the top 5 to get in from the regular season, accompanied by Justin Michael, Michael Waters, Robert Gillenwater, Scott Simley, and Seth Fountain in the top 10. Shane Hother and Stephen Herring just barely squeak their way in. Those will be the 12 drivers to do battle for this championship. And this open round of the championship, Austin, is going to be Chicagoland, New Hampshire, and Dover as this first 3 race set.
Yeah, and something that we really mentioned upon was the fact that yes, there is a reset, but there's some really strong guys that are good at these big tracks. And the first person I like to think about is Justin Michael, who sits 6 in points, but realistically, everyone's just sat there on the board. It's like a brand new season. Look at Justin Michael to do really well. I don't know if Jamie Walker will be here tonight. He said he had to be off for one of these races, and I don't think he's going to be here for this race. So he's not going to be a factor, and we've seen him be in the top 5 just about every race. So I think we're going to see some new faces up towards the front. most likely. And Jamie Walker was last week's winner. Don't forget about Greg Mall either. He got second in last week's race. Mark McCrary, he's not in the chase, but he got third last week, and we've been seeing a lot of good things from him lately. So a lot of different faces kind of up towards the front in this league, and we also got a few drivers that maybe different. But all these drivers will have their numbers highlighted in the ticker, so be on the lookout for that.
And if there's any good news to the fact that, if you're a chase guy and you can't make a start here tonight, it is the fact that this is your best opportunity. This is the best round for you to miss a race in. And not that I would recommend missing a race at any point, only, in 3 race rounds. But for these 12 drivers, I don't think that it may necessarily be fatal regardless. So we'll just have to wait and find out how the picture shapes up from New Hampshire when we come back in 1 week's time. But again, it is going to be a more or less 4-round chase for the championship. This open around Chicago, New Hampshire, and Dover. We'll then go to Charlotte, Talladega, and Kansas, followed by Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix, and of course, the winner-take-all event from the Homestead Miami Speedway. With that, though, trucks are on track, so let's take a look trackside at your LSRTV starting grid for chase race number 1. Justin Michael going to start on pole position. The number 87 puts up not only the best time at a practice earlier, but he beat that time in Q, a 33.10. Going to put him on pole. He's joined on the front row by Ricky Howell Jr. Seth Foudy and Scott Simley going to make up row 2. They'll start 3rd and 4th just behind them. Michael Atkins Jr. top 5.
James Nunn, a guy we haven't seen for quite some time. He's going to start in 6th place. Good start for him a while back. Michael Waters, he'll start 7th. Robert Killenwater, he'll start in the 8th position. Aaron Bennett, he's going to start in that 9th position. And Tristan Beats, the number 99, he will start 10th.
Bobby Harmon going to join this one up from P11 on the inside of row number 6. He's joined by Chris Cabot on the outside, who will start in 12th. On lucky number 13 tonight belongs to Justin Kleber. Shane Hother alongside in the number 14th position. Just behind them, Randy Oakham picks up time in qualifying and will roll from 15th.
Keith Butt starts in the number 16th position with Dylan Phillips right behind him, and on his outside, Ralph Vander Vorst will be in the 18th position with Michael Waite. He gets the last qualifying time, and the first provisional time will go to Bobby Terrell, who starts in 20th.
Handful of other drivers going to not take qualifying times. Those provisionals follow as such. Dwayne Dunn going to start tonight from 21st, and Greg Mall from 22nd. Michael Priester, 23rd. Cody Gibson, 24th. Brian Cutts, 25th. Scott Formosa and Stephen Herring, 26th and 27. That's a look top to bottom at your LSRTV starting grid. Let's talk about this Chicagoland Speedway, a very fun track coming in at 1.5 miles in distance, making it 18 degrees. One of the little unique characteristics of this place is to take a look at the track map there, Austin, is that back straightaway, not really a straightaway. We'll have to try to call it the back stretch as best we can. Really a great progressive curve all the way from 2 to 3.
Yeah, for the less experienced drivers, they'll really have to get used to it because you're going to consistently keep turning left. It's almost like one of them short tracks like Oxford. You're constantly turning left, and no matter where you are on this track, even on the front in the tri-oval.
With that being said, we are set to go chase racing for the first time in 2017. We're happy that you're with us at LSRTV and iRacing Live. The iRacing.com official pace car makes the dive down to the safety of the pit lane, and Justin Michael gonna waste no time at all. American Ethanol green flag flies. We are underway from Chicagoland.
And like we always see, good jump from Justin Michael and a little bit of a calmness from the first 3 guys. And there's a little bit of 2-wide battle. That's for 4th right behind him with Michael Atkins Jr. right there. And still going on. He's going to be able to, he's not going to be able to quite get Scott Simley there on the outside, but he's now 2 wide behind him. James Nunn also looking to get a little bit more from those guys behind him as they go 2 wide behind them for 5th.
And it is a side-by-side battle with that number 7 found on top side. Not even going to bother going down to the apron. The driver on the inside of him, that 3 of Aaron Bennett, all the way down to that white line. And the 75 not giving up, but he's not really engaging the 3 in the corner. He's not trying to pinch him down or anything. Really stayed out of his way. The 3 completes the pass, and I'm going to get back to the back bumper, just gives him a little bit of a tap halfway down the back straightaway, and then is going to send it back off into corner number 3, losing that position. Aaron Bennett going to go plus to P7.
Yeah, he goes up and none goes down. 2 positions minus for that number 75 machine. Said he's come back in the truck. Maybe just a little bit of slow start for him, but 3 laps in isn't really much to boot. Look at that position, number 2. The number 18, Ricky Howell Jr., just got it from Seth Vowdy right out of turns number 2. And that number 18 looks really fast. Haven't really talked about Ricky Howell Jr. that much this season, as he's going to go after our leader here.
Yeah, try to make a challenge for the top position. Ricky Howell Jr. in that number 18 machine, a name that is very familiar on the iRacing service, doing a lot of league stuff, and making his way over here to Saturday nights in LSRTV, that Toyota Care machine, +1 with the move on Seth Vowdy. Vowdy not all that far back in the number 3 position either, but the 18 looks good. You can see the gap growing to the 22, and the gap closing to the 87. Question is, how much does he want to push it off of this restart to get the job done, as the risk versus reward that would come associated with that as far as trying to conserve tires. He sits about a truck length and a half off the bumper.
And if you look at the side of that number 18 truck, he's got a black number, and that might not mean a lot to you at first, but if you look at all those yellow numbers around him, he's got 3 drivers around him, 1st, 3rd, and 4th now. Aaron Bennett just got another spot. And all those guys are chase drivers. All the guys with yellow numbers, those are the 12 drivers, 11 in this race, to watch. And then also on your ticker, they are also in yellow. So definitely been the watch for those drivers. As the 18, he doesn't really care at this point. I mean, a win and being up towards the front is really going to matter. Now, what could happen is if he gets in one of these chase drivers, that's really going to upset those guys. But at this point, keeping it good, 6 laps in, and at 18, he's doing pretty good. But won't forget about that 3 on the outside of Seth Vowdy right there, number 3 truck of Aaron Bennett. Seeing him in the top 5 in a while, so he's on the surge on the outside, trying to get that position.
And he's looking good, about 2 lanes up off of the bottom, outside on the 22 as the battle is on for the race lead. Ricky Howell going to go to the inside, and we will go side by side at lap number 7. Trying to hold the outside is Justin Michael. Not going to give this thing up without a fight, though. Keep an eye on that 3 of Aaron Bennett behind these guys, now up to 3rd. As an option to try to make either lanes work, he will hold still for the moment. Still nose-to-nose in the battle for the race lead. Look at the 18 on the inside, though. He should get a good run out of 4, and he does. New race leader, Ricky Howell Jr.
And don't forget about the 3 behind him. Aaron Bennett just got around the number 87 of Justin Michael as well. So number 3 now leads the chase guys, and the 18 leads all of them here in that 3 truck. He just got around all of them. Oh, the 18 gets loose or something on the apron, and that 3 truck should be able to inherit the lead because of it, but they're going to go side by side, 2 rows deep for that lead.
Well, got clear, made just a little bit of a self-inflicted mistake. We saw a lot of loose trucks in the warm-up session before we came on the air and watched qualifying tonight, and maybe that bit the 18 there. Howell had the lead. Now he's back about where he was 5-6 laps ago. He made that move to P2 very quickly, and then was able to catch up to at-time race leader Justin Michael, who, by the way, has now fallen all the way down to 4th position, and that might not even be it. Here comes the 68 of Scott Simley coming up the inside. Michael may go all the way to P6 as he continues to slide.
Yeah, what an uncharacteristic thing to see from that leader, especially seeing that 87 being so strong in the regular season. I mean, it is only lap 10, so he's got a long ways to go. He's got over 120 laps to go, but it was interesting to see. Perhaps he wanted to back out of it and not risk it. You said that earlier on in the pre-race show. Like, some of these drivers are not going to really worry about those positions as you're looking at the battle for second. 2 non-trace drivers. The 44 of Michael Atkins gets another spot. That's 2nd place for that 44 driver, and we're seeing non-trace drivers really be a factor in this top 5. It's actually quite interesting to watch and quite exciting.
Yeah, impressed with Atkins, how he's been able to make his way up. He is +3 to this point. And don't forget, Aaron Bennett is a chase guy, but he started back in 9th on the inside of row 5. Took over the race lead in less than 10 laps and is trying to scoot away with this thing. 0.8 of a second to the good to Michael Atkins and company. And, for those non-chase drivers that run 2-3, you've got Atkins, you've got Howell, and it's very easy to see them throughout the field. Actually, caution of flying. Going to fly early on tonight. Slow truck down the back, the 2 of Randy Yoakum.
Yeah, replay is going to come up here in just a moment. The number 2 and the 11 got together. That was fighting for 18th place, and it appears that they just got together on the back stretch, not the straightaway. Just a simple spin out is all that caused that, and the 2 was around, and that was it. The 11 came back up the track, and I think possibly spun out. Now he kept it straight, but yeah, just a small spin out causes that caution.
The 11 was really aggressive on that 2 all the way through on 2. Had a big run, and I think kind of ran out of room, and he tried to avoid getting out of the gas and just kind of slide off of that left rear quarter panel and get to the inside. A little bit too close for comfort, and he sent the 2 for a ride. A pit road open for the first time. Race leaders are in under caution at lap number 12. Bennett, Atkins, Howell, Foudy, Simley, top 5.
Yeah, and the thing I think I'm most looking forward to is seeing that 3 being the leader and going, as you're seeing him get in his box right now, and everybody else too slides in. Probably going to get 4 tires. All these drivers are going to probably get 4 tires, and you see the right sides of almost everyone's going to get 4. 55 and the 93, they went through their box, so it's going to be a slow start for most of those guys, and I don't see anybody taking 2, so it looks like the 44 might edge him out, though. So will the 18. So 2 drivers looks to beat the 3. Maybe the 3 got it. Yeah, I think the 3 got the... Nope. Scratch that. 18 got it.
And both of those drivers taking a double check at a pit lane did come down and did do 4 tires, and they both almost relatively easily, were able to get up right to Aaron Bennett. Bennett actually had a pretty good gap onto the pit lane. The biggest problem that he had is that, as we noted, he started in 9th position. And because of that, his pit box is way back in the middle of traffic. Those final 3 boxes or so are great for caution flag pit stops because you're not enough gap between your box and the exit of the pit lane to get up to full speed. So you just kind of put the foot down and try to spin it out and burn it out and just get to the line. And often it works. And that is going to shuffle up the running order here with now that 18 machine and the 44. Going to go up to 1 and 2. Both of those drivers had pit stall numbers lower than Bennett did at the time being.
Yeah, neither of these guys are chase guys. I think this is awesome to see those 9 chaser guys. It's not just chase racers show at this point, so definitely look at the 44 and the 18 to do business, but I'm just amazed about how fast that number 3 got up there. If he can get around these guys as quickly as he did, he put on over almost a second in just a few laps on these guys, and that 3 is very, very fast. Permitting he can get around these guys, I think he's a hard fella to beat when he's good. And that 3 feels like he was at the short track so a few weeks ago. This 3 is gonna be bad fast, so keep your eye on Aaron Bennett.
There was a lot of movement on that very short opening stint. They said that Chicago's a fun track. It is. It's a race that we will see, and only time will tell if that kind of intensity is going to be able to keep it up as the course of this race continues on. Pace car is going to drop back off and away this time. We will see what Michael Atkins Jr. decides to do from the control position. He as well wastes no time at all. Green flag flies as we go back underway. 14 laps now complete.
Yeah, what a good jump that he gets as the leader. And that number 3 and the 18 side by side for second. And I say the 3 is probably going to get it, has the momentum, and was able to really watch the 44 go. So the 18 loses position. And look at that 99 of Tristan Beach. He's up a few positions from the beginning of this race. And they're thinking about 3 wide back there for that position. But Seth Foudy shuts the door. That's not going to happen. And he's going to go 2 wide for 3rd place here, trying to get that 18 as they are going side by side for P3. And actually P5 right now. That settles itself down.
The point that I was going to make about all of these non-chase competitors, and you see them woven into this. You've got the 99 is going to get into him. There goes the 33, a butt into the outside wall, and the caution flag is out once again. Oh, still wrecking. More drivers. Scott Ferosa involved. Justin Michael involved at a turn 2.
This is not good for those chase guys, and I said it earlier on that if you're one of these non-chase drivers, you really don't want to mess it up for a chase guy. And that was a case. I don't think Dunn has that much damage, but I didn't see the rest of the wrecking, and this could involve a lot more drivers that are have points implications here.
We'll take a second look on the LSRTV replay, but ironically and almost sad enough is the point that I was going to make is these guys absolutely want to take it to the chase guys. They want to kind of, I don't know if it's proving something to those guys or maybe just proving something to themselves, that they can get the job done. And we refer to the non-chase drivers as spoilers, taking away wins and such in these chase races. And they're a factor. You saw it right there, no doubt. But what I was going to say is that regardless of circumstances, race leaders, they can look back down to the pit lane already. Here they come. You're not going to get somebody to bite. Ricky Howell Jr. jumps back out. Might be a 50-50 split. But these guys, they do not want to get into the chase guys. And that was an unfortunate accident.
Yeah, they more or less gotten inside them into each other, and then when they went up the track, the 39 to Dunn was there, and I'd say Dunn's got a long race ahead of him. But if you're gonna have an issue, I always say this: you'd rather have it early. So Dunn's definitely gonna come down to pit road and get service on that truck as much as he can, get everything fixed. It looks like a splash and go for the 22. I don't even know if he got tires. But a lot of the other guys did get tires, maybe 2 tires on that machine, but. Definitely Seth Foudy trying to do something different to get himself some of that really important track position at a track like this.
Curious to see how the scoring is going to cycle through and we come back by the start finish on the next time, because a fair amount of trucks did come down pit road. Atkins led them down and went with 4 tires, so he lost a couple of spots on pit road. I think the first driver off of pit road may have been, and it was Seth Foudy. So wherever Seth Foudy is, that'll be that number on back drivers who pitted, that number on up drivers who stayed out. But it looks like a fair amount of guys still out on track, and that was a very short run too.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we didn't have guys stay out. And it looks like Howell Jr. and it looks like Justin Kleber, who went through his pit box earlier, he actually got fuel with 1 lap to go and got tires, and probably wasn't that hard on the restart at all. So I'd say that's a really good idea for the 93, who is in the chase nonetheless, and he had a bad mistake, and it was going to put him in the back. So trying to do everything he can to get that track position as well. So the 18 0 tires, the 93 0 tires, but a little bit fresher than the 18 off of 1 caution lap. Not a huge deal. And then you got the 22 on 2. Maybe the 4 has 2 as well, but definitely Atkins Jr. and Bennett have 4.
Well, in all honesty, I thought that pitting on that short of a run was a little bit overkill, but we'll find out now. If those guys in the front row can defend those positions and hang on, then maybe you don't necessarily have to pit that often. Also, keep in mind that you got the guys up front who obviously did not pit. The guys that are row 2, as you noted, 2 tires, and the guys row 3 on back with 4 tires. So we're just going to find out how important these tires really are. As for the 3rd time we get a restart, it'll be a 3rd different driver in control. We will see what the 18 Toyota does. The last 2 drivers have gone right on the drop of the pace car. How long does Howell hold them back? A little bit longer. Into the restart box. Green flag flies, and we go back underway. Battle can open up for P2.
That inside line is so strong on these restarts, and when you're in 2nd place, you're going to see that he's going to drop a position almost before they get to turns number 2, and say goodbye to that no tire advantage, because Seth Foudy got 1 position and he's got the advantage on the driver in front of him. So at 22, really good decision to stay and do that 2 tire stop, but 93 might be in a sucker hole soon if he can't get up there.
Well, we've seen, at least on that opening run, a couple of guys drop 5-6 positions, and it really didn't have to do specifically with getting stuck on the outside or getting stuck on the inside. Just you kind of lose some momentum, and they will go after you. Take a look at that 3 machine outside of the racetrack. Bennett trying to fight back topside, trying to get back to the point. Started 9th, went to the race lead in the opening 10 laps, so he just gets to do it all over again. He gets 1 spot there, jumping back up to P5.
Yeah, and he looks really strong once again. Said it again. I said it once, said it again. He looks hungry. He's probably one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack right now. Yeah, he's faster than everybody in front of him by almost in a complete tenth. So definitely look for that 3 to go under the 4 right there. Gillenwater's on the outside trying to see if he can hold him off for as long as he can, but it's not going to be lived long. They're heads up right now on the back straight backstretch, and going right into turns number 3. He's going to have him.
inside, and he does, up to P4. Bennett continuing the march forwards and making up time while doing it. Typically, you make a pass on somebody, you're kind of stunting your momentum. You're not getting into the corner as high as you want. You're not getting out of the corner as high as you want because you're typically side by side or a little bit slower. But these top three, they were significantly in front of him and Gillenwater, battling for 4th and 5th. Just like that, though, he is right into the picture, and Justin Kleber knows that he's coming to 3. Going to go to the bumper, the 93. Bad entry to corner 3. He'll drop to the inside.
Yeah, maybe another spot for him. And something that's unique about a track like this, a couple other tracks are like this, like Kansas, which were these two tracks, Kansas and Chicagoland, were made about the same time. They have that front stretch where you can go all the way to the grass, and you can even use the grass if you wanted to. I mean, it's not the most wisest thing to do, but you could go all the way down there or all the way up to the top. You could go 6 wide on this track. I mean, you can use the entire track to your advantage, and 3 goes all the way down to the bottom to really get some leverage on the 93 and gets around him. And look how quick he's gotten up to this top 3. He's already up to the number 22's bumper, and it's only going to be just a little bit before he gets to him and passes him and goes for this lead, because this truck is fast.
And for a truck that at least right now is so fast as far as short run speed, the one thing that's always that you have to, I guess, take caution to when you look at practice times and qualifying times is that the only numbers that show up on a board are the ones that were the best lap. And typically somebody who would have a great short run car would be good in those categories. Bennett did a great job in practice session, got a P4. Not really what he wanted, though, in qualifying, with a 37-32 back on row number 5 to start from 9th position, but he's making these passes look easy. Got around Seth Foundy, now he's going to take it out on the race lead, and this is exactly what we saw in that last run, except he had to make up about twice the distance. But that 3 right now, best truck on track. Just look how quick the closing rate is to the back of the 18 to Howell. He has an option, does he go high, does he go low, and Howell going to protect the inside on the front.
Yeah, he's going the longer route just so he can maybe set up a pass here in turns 2. And I think he's going to get the opportunity here. Maybe not quite out of this corner, but definitely in the next one. He's going to maybe show the inside. Right here is where he's going to show it. He's going to be on the left side of the 18, and the 18 lets him by. That was an easy pass. New leader, number 3 of Aaron Bennett.
Question is now going to be, how long does this green flag stretch work out to be? And like we have not seen to this point, therefore, what would you think? It's Kleber. Oh, Atkins.
Yeah, Atkins in the grass right there got spun, I think, or got tapped.
He cut
looks like
I don't
the
know if he
93
cut
got
the
him
93 off, though. The 93, they were battling for position. We'll see if we can get a second look at this one. Coming out of 4, 93 dives to the inside on him, Coop, and I think the 93 had the positioning.
Yeah, and I was just talking about how you have that extra space, but if you don't pay attention, may just be on the wrong end of it, and that's exactly what happened. I think the 93 had the positioning, and then 44 luckily was able to gather it, and he just, the farthest he went was 7, so that could have been a lot worse for that 44 crew. He's not the chase, but still could have had an issue with the 93 as well. The 93 had no issue turning that guy around for position.
The good news, if any, is that it doesn't look the truck really got torn up, but it didn't get that sideways, so I wouldn't be overly concerned about, heating up the tires or flat spotting or anything. And he's going to go to the inside of Scott Zilli, so they're going to go side by side. That's position 6 on track, and 44 still looking pretty good. Curious to see what happens if he can complete this pass, and maybe when he gets back up to the 93, who's one spot in front of this 68, he's not going to be able to get the move, though, this time.
Yeah, and I see that he has a speed, but anything like that can really take you out of the game. Even at a track that's so big like this, every time you go across that position on the track, and you're seeing he's not afraid to do it. Again, he's not really afraid to go back down there. That is what got him, but we do have a caution on the speedway, so that is going to slow the action momentarily.
Problems on the front straightaway, and it is Bobby Harmon in the number 21 Chevrolet. Scored in the 15th position before the caution flag came out, and he had a little bit of assistance in this one. In front of him, Scott Formosa just took a big wiggle out of 4, stepped it up the hill, and he basically had space up top to hang on to it all but until right when that happened, because you saw that 21 to Harmon digging up on the outside of the racetrack. Formosa came up the track. Both of those trucks take a swipe into the inside fence, and I think Randy Oakham didn't touch anybody. If he didn't, it's nothing short of a miracle, but I think that too, with a spectacular piece of driving, stayed out of that one.
Oh my goodness, yeah, three of them non-chase drivers, but definitely drove like they knew exactly what their car was going to do. So Chu does have a little bit of right front damage, but I'd say that he's going to be able to really walk it off, coming down to the pits, hammer that out, and get it back out there. It's definitely going to stink for track position, but to be able to stay alive with about 100 laps to go right now is going to be the best thing.
So we're not going to have an opportunity to take a look at Aaron Bennett on old tires, but he's going to come down and get fresh ones. Pit road open once again, and as it has been all night, pit road comes open under the caution flag, and your race leaders want new tires. It's the one advantage of the iRacing service is you don't have a set limit of tires. You can come down, keep getting these things put on the truck all night long, but a problem for the 3, overshot it, and that might cost him a couple spots.
18 in the 4 did as well, Gillenwater. So a lot of, I'd say that the 3's biggest problem right now is pit road, whether it's the timing, and you're seeing 2 trucks go right by him right there. And that 94 of Bobby Terrell's also been coming up the field quite as much. And the 68's going to get by him as well, maybe. So at 3, he's got to get this little hex off of him right down pit road. This is where he's losing it. He gets the lead, and it's hard to say what he could do better. Maybe just this many pit stops is getting to him, but that 3's a strong truck, and definitely has to get around these cars. It's going to feel like if this happens the entire night, it's going to feel like he's passed 100 cars.
So it's not going to be the worst thing in the world for Aaron Bennett. He looks pretty good on these runs, but at least for the time being, self-inflicted error going to drop him back into the pack, and it is going to cost him some time. One thing that's going to mean, it's going to be fun off for the restart for us to keep an eye on. The lone driver who is scored now behind the pace car off of the lead lap is Michael Waters. He's 3 laps down, and he will look for a wave by. We'll take a quick opportunity to step aside. We will be right back to the Chicagoland Speedway in a moment as we pace at lap number 31. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the USR BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series and LSRTV and iRacing Live.
So cool, yeah. Nate, what are you working on at the moment?
So I'm working on the animation for the game. We're working on getting pit crews fully developed, and that involves a lot of moving parts. So I'm going in and making sure that each moving part can dovetail smoothly into the next one, so that when you pull in for a pit stop, it looks like the real thing, as opposed to a bunch of jumbled pieces that suddenly stop and then go and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, but why aren't you working on the tire model? Nothing?
Welcome back live to the Chicagoland Speedway. Lights now out on top of the pace car. We'll double up row by row, about 11 rows still of trucks, 21 deep on the back straightaway as we get set for a restart. Inside now of 100 laps to go in tonight's Chicago 200. Restart going to come to wrap up lap number 35 of 133 on the night. Justin Kleber going to get his first shot at bringing us to the green flag. Seth Foudy, Bobby Terrell, Scott Simley, Aaron Bennett, the top 5 coming out of 4.
Yeah, and it looks like Seth Foudy actually will get the bottom preferred line here as we're going to go green once more. And Seth Foudy actually appears to be in control of this restart. Once again, inside line gets the most preferred and definitely gets a huge boost. 93 almost is a sit and duck on the outside, and we've said it multiple times, Evan. It may not be the place you want to be on these restarts.
Looks like the inside lane to move, and at least in the inside of quarter number 2, you've got a couple of guys lined up. The 94, the 63, the 3, and it also looks like the 95 working up the inside. Going to be the 87 machine adjusted to Michael. Everybody, that's a 3-driver, chase driver, freight train coming up the inside. Look how tight they are. And that 3 of Bennett, got to keep an eye. That 87 trying to creep on to get to the inside. They'll go 2x2 in a battle between the 93 and the 68, and I think that those guys trying to keep it 2x2 for the moment had an opportunity to go 3 wide, didn't take it, and there goes the 3 of Bennett to the inside, just as the 68 loses out to Cleaver.
Yeah, I don't know if he was going to go 3 wide, even if he realized it or not, but he was going for it. Is he going to get around the 68 assembly? And I think these guys just know the 3 is on a rail, but those guys in front of him know at some point they got to start playing defensively. Lap 38 now. And that 3 is coming again, but look at Seth Foudy's lead. He's already got almost a half a tenth or half a second of a lead on these guys. What a great start he's gotten. He told me a couple weeks ago that he wants to be out front even if he's not the fastest truck, no matter how it really gets there. He tried it at Richmond, spun out a few times, and this is really where he wants to be. He says he doesn't care about how the truck feels. He wants to be out towards the front. It's where he feels the best.
Keeping an eye to see, just who's going down, utilizing that apron on the front stretch. Most of the intermediate tracks on the surface as we keep an eye on the 3, the 93. Bennett's going to be able to hang on the inside and maintain that 3rd spot as far as, working on the inside on the front stretch. Most tracks have that apron, but it's a little bit extra wide here, and I'm sure they could use it in that battle for 4th. Up the middle, Justin Michael going to be able to clear the 93 of Kleber. Can't get by the 68, though. Simply stubborn on the inside, 2x2 to corner 1.
Oh, this is getting really close here for this 4th position right here. The 87 threaded the needle, and I've never seen a pass like that get executed so well by that number 87. It was an amazing pass on the inside, or on the middle, I should say, and it's never easy to be the meat in the sandwich, but when you can go that well in 3 and 4 and continue on the straightaways, that was some heck of a driving by that 87, and definitely he's damaged a little bit. Got spun out in that caution, but nothing to boot really, and we have a lead change with the 94 and the 22.
Yeah, replacing things up front, Bobby Terrell and the number 94 just around the 22 is Seth Foudy, and now he is going to be under attack by Aaron Bennett as well. Side by side, going to be very short-lived, only about the entry to corner 3 to the center. Easy pass for the 3 Chevrolet Bennett back to P2. And I know that he would have liked to restart up front, Coop, and that dropping back of the pack is probably not on the agenda, but that 3 looks so good right now, you have to think it's a little bit fun.
Yeah, I say that he's in a good position, and you got to think about Bobby Terrell too. He's up from 20th to the 1st position, which is incredible. I mean, we've had a few cautions, but even then, that 20 or that 94, we've seen him go up the field multiple times throughout the night and throughout the entire season. So it's no question that that 94 likes to start in the back and come up through the field. He's going to get a little bit of pressure right here. Actually, it looks like he's going to try the high side, and he may be able to continue to be side by side for this lead at turns number 2, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep it in at turns number 3 on the inside. Number 3, Aaron Bennett. Looks like he's going to go to the race lead once again on the inside.
At lap number 43, this is the 3rd time tonight that he has driven to the race lead. Got a little bit out of shape, though. That time actually coming out of 4. Going to dive way back down to the inside to pick up some momentum. It left maybe a small opening for Terrell to try to do something. It's not going to happen. Now that 3 machine on the inside of the racetrack, Aaron Bennett continues to power.
Yeah, most definitely. And your top 5, Bennett, Terrell, Foudy, and Michael Simley. You're seeing a lot of resurgences and a lot of a lot of guys that we've been accustomed to seeing out towards the front that we didn't experience until just around this point in the field. We've got a lot of non-chase drivers. Talk about Michael Atkins Jr. in 6th place. He's one of those guys who's definitely trying to get back up there. Got spun in the infield. But look at the 87 right there. Justin Michael trying to get on the inside of Seth Foudy on the back stretch. He's going to be able to get the nose there. They're going to go side by sides in turns number 3 and 4, and I bet you he'll have it here on the front stretch.
Gonna be nose to nose. Inside should have the advantage. He's gonna go down to the apron, but actually top side, Seth Foudy. About half a truck like that to start finish line, just hanging on. Outside, not the best place to be, but you can put up a defensive fight from the outside of the racetrack. And as they go side by side, the 22 and the 87 going to continue to battle for 3rd, and Foudy finally topside going to be able to hang on and defend that and get that spot. 60 rather than 94 to Bobby Terrell now leads a 3 or 4 car train, 2nd, 3rd on back, and out of this group, Bobby Terrell, the biggest mover. We've been talking so much about Aaron Bennett getting the job done. Terrell started 20th on provisionals. In fact, he was the first driver on the grid to take a provisional, not take a qualifying time. Michael Waite started in front of him at 19th. He was the lowest of the qualifying times. And Bobby Terrell, somebody who's no stranger here to us at LSRTV either. He's somebody who always comes into these races late, steals it out from under your nose right in those closing minutes, and that's why Here Comes Bobby is his unofficial nickname, and he's going to have to try to work on that because he took a race lead. Aaron Bennett took it away, and as we slowly start to get onto the longest green flag stretch of the night we've seen, Aaron Bennett pulling away. I don't think that anybody can necessarily say that they are surprised by that 0.8 of a second now between P1 and P2. Still running with a total of 21 trucks on the lead lap, top to bottom. Not all that far away, though. Now at this point, almost at the 50-lap marker in our 133-lapper tonight from the Chicagoland Speedway. When we do get to that halfway point, we'll take a look at your iRacing Midway race break, and we'll get set to count you down towards the end of this one. Again, if you're just joining us, it is the first race of the chase, and you can take a look on the trucks on track and also at the numbers on the ticker. Yellow, those are your 12 chase competitors fighting amongst themselves now in hopes of advancing through this opening 3-race round of the championship that includes tonight from Chicago, next week from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and Dover in 3 weeks' time. Lap traffic not going to be a concern for Aaron Bennett. Easily works up on the outside of the 2 of Randy Oakham. So with that noted, 20 trucks now in the lead lap.
Man, I'm watching Seth Foudy really try and cling on to this position to the 87. 87 and Justin Michael appears to be really strong here. 22 is able to really fend him off, and actually is really starting to catch Bobby Terrell right there in the 94. All right, that turns number 2. Each lap he appears to get a little bit more, but the 87 appears to also give just as much pressure each and every lap. So I feel this is going to be a 3-horse race here for second place here in the coming laps. Oh wow, look at the 22 get a little wobbly out of turns number 4 and easily gathers it up. Not going to be a huge bobble, but definitely enough to really make that truck a little upset. 87 backed off just a little bit as well. So those two 3 cars going for second place. Only thing that the 3 would like to happen is those guys to fight as he can continue to get that lead bigger.
Keeping an eye of some of the tighter battles on track. One of those is for 7th position at the moment. You're going to have to look 4 seconds back. Bobby Terrell, no problems at a corner 4. Second time tonight we've seen somebody get out of shape, and he is going to lose a lot of spots. The back end of that truck stepped out. He did a good job of catching it, went through the grass, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. And a Muscle Milk Chevrolet was running 2nd at that time, and I think it's going to drop him back behind Shane Hawthorne in 8th.
Yeah, as we watch the replay, it just appears that these tires, as they get, this is probably, I think, longest run we've had. These trucks' tires are starting to really wear down, and right there in 4, it looked like it was one of those sort of lazy back outs by the rear end, but it was at least enough where he could at least notice it was going to happen. sometimes when you have those lazy spins, it happens so gradually you can't catch it. It's so slow, as opposed to the sudden ones where you might be able to make the wheel go another direction. He's settled back to 8th, so not a huge hit, but when you're in 2nd, you lose 6th spot. That does get to you pretty well, as much as he's gone through this field 20th to 1st, and now all the way back to 8th.
Well, the problem is now it's a lot harder to make up positions the further more you get into a run off of a restart. Guys are more spread out. Off of a restart, 20th position is really deep in the pack, but it's not that far back time-wise. As we keep it down, the 87 adjusted Michael. Successful defense for P3 over Michael Atkins that time. But now Bobby Terrell's in 8th. Doesn't sound that bad, but he's over 5 seconds back from where he just was. That's going to be the challenge that he's going to have to try to run and catch up to. That 87 adjusted Michael, quite the move that time before, shut the door all the way to the grass, and he'll take a shot from the 44. Atkins did not appreciate it, getting at it for 3rd on track.
Oh, those two drivers are not completely happy with each other, and I'd say that 44 wasn't trying to necessarily hit him, and it definitely hurt him more than it hurt Michael, but those two definitely going at it. Chase driver versus non-chase driver. I'm sure the 87 wants him to back off as much as possible. It's only the first race in the championship, so you really gotta wonder about the battle. But the 87 is really trying to defend and get as many as he can get. He's 3rd out of all the championship drivers, which would only mean so much. But we do have our another caution tonight. It's going to be for the 55.
Yep, Waters turned around on the front straightaway, and as we take a look back at this one, corner number 4 strikes again. You take a look at the LSRTV replay. The back end just started to slide up on him and locked the wheel to the right. Wasn't able to catch it, spun it around on the front straightaway, and I was going to say that he's lucky that he was running back in 22nd. I'm sure that that's the most fortunate thing for Waters in this opening race of the championship, but that did mean that there wasn't a whole lot of trucks around him. Could have been a lot worse as he snapped it back up into traffic. He's just going to spin it out, though, keep on going. Yellow flies, lap 58.
Yeah, what really stings for that number 55 is I do believe he was on off lap in the lucky dog position, so no, he was actually 2 laps down, but still could have got a wave around if he would have been up here with the leaders while they pit. It's still possible, but it's going to be a little bit less likely. And then he's still going to be on really bad tires. So pit stop's now starting to come along in the 3 car. Got to watch his pit stop here as he's going to come down the long stretch down to his pit stall. Is anything going to happen to that 3 this time? And seeing that number 22 try something different again, as you're seeing the 87 really close to his back bumper.
Let's see what Aaron Bennett can do into the box this time. He's come down as the race leader a couple of times, and I don't think he's gone on pit road P1 and come off of pit road P1 in any single given sequence. So 3 machine, gonna go 4 tires. No surprise in that strategy. He was easy into the box. The dry race off for the pit lane. Can somebody challenge at the line? No. Good push on the outside. Bennett wins the race off of pit road. Michael Foudy 2-3. Simley Terrell top 5.
And Michael finally gets the pass on Seth Foudy. Wasn't on the racetrack, he was down pit road, but I bet you the 87 would have rather it happened that way, because the 22 was extremely defensive on the track and ultimately held him off and actually got some ground on the 87. So really good work by that by the 87 to get that position from Foudy.
Taking a look to see if any drivers elected to stay out under this one, and there's a wave of them. Justin Cleaver, Michael Waters, Dylan Phillips, Ralph Vander Vorsten, as well, it looks like Keith Butt. So a couple of those drivers, lap machines, not being able to come down pit road last time, and a couple of them, you start to look at 2 laps down and so on and so forth for Vorsty, Waters, and Button. They're going to decide to not come down to the pit lane. Fuel not really a concern, and obviously this strategy banks on a short run upcoming, but they will omit coming down pit road for service, and they get a lap back. So instead of being 3 laps down, and for those drivers just 2 laps down, and a couple of them back to the race lead, including Dylan Phillips and then Scott Formosa, who just got the lucky dog into this yellow.
Yeah, it's going to be a very few drivers on the off laps, and I'm pretty sure that Michael Waters knows that He's one of 2 drivers on the off lap now, so when it comes to that's why he's getting fresh tires. He has to really get fresh tires because he spun not too long ago. So 55, he's still 2 laps down, but with the way the race has been going, we've been getting some long runs, some consistent cautions, and I'm sure by the end of this, he's hoping that he's going to get at least one or 2 more cautions to get himself on the lead lap. He's one of those chase drivers that you got to watch, and being that many laps down is not where you want to be towards the back of this field.
We're just about at that halfway point, as I noted. Going to be 60 laps complete. This time around, still looking for the lights to go out on top of the pace car. Kleber, one of the drivers who stayed out, that was from the race lead, takes the bonus point. He does come down pit road this time. That will give the race lead back to that number 3 Chevy of Aaron Bennett. And for the first time, this is, I think, a good opportunity for him to take off. I don't think we've seen that 3 of Aaron Bennett really get passed up under green flag conditions. And you know, on all these runs, he's able to work himself to maybe about a second at advantage, and that's after laps and laps of fighting from 5th or even further on back to get up front. I want to see this 3 machine take off, and let's just find out how really good it is.
Oh, yeah, and I think this is he's going to set the bar for the restarts, I think, for the rest of the race, too, depending on how well he does execute. And I think he really has more or less a short to middle run truck, so it will be, I think, fascinating to see if that 3 truck really goes or whether he doesn't and tries to save those tires for that middle run. But also want to talk about that 93 who's in the chase, and this is the first time he's come and got that bonus lap and tried to lead and gone to the back. So that 93 going to the very back again, maybe hoping to avoid some carnage later on in this race.
Do up to find out what's going to happen on this restart as that pace car going to make the sharp left-hand turn back down to pit road. The 3 Chevrolet in control. Aaron Bennett, green flag. A lot of tire spin on the front row. Michael did not get going. Foudy on the attack inside. Going to go 3rd to 2nd.
And just as soon as he got that position, he lost it. 87 to Justin Michael loses that spot. And look at the 22. He's all over the back deck lid of the 3. He's going to go a little high in turns number 2. Maybe he'll have a run at the 3. We know it may not last long. 22 trying to do everything he can. The battle for lead ensues. 2 wide behind them for 5th and 7th position. That 3, as soon as he got to him, he got away. And that battle for 2nd's also going to be going on 3. He's going to get that lead back.
Yeah, and fighting back onto the inside of the racetrack this time. They'll go back off to quarter 1, nose to nose in the battle for 2nd. Chase drivers occupying 1, 2, and 3, and Michael is going to be able to get that spot back. Seth Foudy falls to 4th. Here comes Bobby Terrell back on it. After starting way back in 20th, he may be the 2nd fastest truck on track, but I think because he started so much further back than Aaron Bennett, he may have made the most passes out of anybody so far tonight. He takes over 3 relatively easily, and Seth Foudy, 2nd last time by, 4th this time by. None of those moves, though, by Michael Otero, he put up all that much of a fight for. I think that Pennzoil machine's just trying to stay out of trouble.
Oh, most definitely. And at 22, he definitely, I think, is just kind of biding his time. It's about halfway through the race and still a long race to go. And I think that 94 in front of him, the Bobby Terrell, I think he's definitely smiling ear to ear, knowing that he went and kind of got a mulligan off of turn 4 when he spun out, went back to 8th, and is all the way back to 3rd now, and took 4 tires. And that muscle milk truck is definitely doing something different than all these guys running the very top of the track. Maybe hoping to get used to it when that bottom line starts to rubber in. When it starts to get real slick, I'd be looking at that pretty closely towards the later ends of this race.
We run with 19 drivers scored on the lead lap at the moment, and battles continue not only up front, but how about mid-pack as well? Taking the 99 of beats, the 64 on the outside of the racetrack. Priester, the driver who's falling back in that, runs in 12th at the moment. You have the 40 to Michael Waite back there. A couple of these guys haven't had an opportunity to talk all that much about, but a handful of them who started outside the top 20 are inside the 20s now in contact with Kleber. We tried to move to the inside, and Waite might have just stepped to the left a little bit trying to protect, and it worked. They got the 93 out of shape, but now Kleber under attack by Shane Hawthorne.
Yeah, and the 2 guys in front of them, Beats beats Maul, and they were involved in an accident earlier on in this race. It was one of the first, or it's been the only car heavy contact that any of these guys got in turns 1 and 2, and they're back up in the top 10. At least Maul is. He had some pretty big damage, and he's a chaser as well. So seeing that 12th car rebound is not something that you see very often when you're talking about a track that is pretty aerodynamically important. And going back up front, look at the 94 of Bobby Terrell. He's going to try and get that second spot away from Justin Michael, trying that high side. I talked about it being important, and it might just come really good to him. Is he's going to maybe get a nose here and just, he's going to show it in turns number 3. He's going to go to the bottom, and I think he's going to have it, but not without contest from the 87, still sticking to the outside.
This is a track as well where if you clear somebody on the inside, that guy topside could cross you over. So Terrell's going to get the spot, but he had to go all the way down to that inside line, right up against the grass on the front straightaway to protect the inside, but he opened it up in 1 and 2. Beautiful move by Justin Michael. He'll bring it back to him at quarter number 2. The momentum might not be enough to clear down the back, but now he has the preferred lane back into 3.
I think they both have the preferred lane to themselves, at least. I think the 94 loves that high side, and the 87 loves the bottom. It almost just kind of depends at this point which one likes it, or which one drives which one better. And I do believe that 94 is just stellar fast on the high side. You can see it right there. Oh, goodness gracious. He's going to get a lot of speed at it, too, and not quite clear him. But, yeah, he's going to actually very much clear him. And because of that, Aaron Bennett's got himself a really nice lead, and the 22 has also been able to catch these guys behind.
Yeah, 1.6. I believe that is the biggest gap we've seen in the battle for the race lead so far to this point tonight. And with that being said, we have now just crossed our way past the halfway point in tonight's Chicago 200. As Bennett, who for the first time was able to get back under green flag conditions from the top spot, is now set to rocket away. So with that being said, let's take this opportunity to take a look at your iRacing Midway race break, brought to you by iRacing, the leading online simulation developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing hosts, organizes, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. And in the fast pace of esports, iRacing is your one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned action from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, and many more. Working lap number 72 now from Joliet, Illinois, and it is Aaron Bennett to the tune of now nearly 2 seconds over Bobby Terrell. I think the best truck on track and the second best truck on track, running where they belong right now, first and second. It is a big battle, though. Third on back, Seth Feldy that time by third, with Justin Michael fourth, Michael Atkins fifth, and Scott Simley sixth. That one continues to rage on, 2.5 seconds off of the number 1 position. Just behind them, Robert Gillenwater, and much smoother waters runs in 7th. Ricky Howell Jr. behind him in 8th, with Greg Mall running 9th, and Chris Gabot rounds out our top 10.
In 11th, Michael Preacher in that 64. He runs there. Michael Waite, he's in the 12th position. Shane Hawthor, I think, just rolled through the grass just a little bit on the back stretch. He's 13th. Justin Kleber, he's in 14th. Got a lot of positions since then. Actually, he rolls up to 12th. Shane Hawthor still 13th. And Steve Herring, 14th. Scott Formosa, he's in that 15th position. Dwayne Dunn dropped quite a bit since last time we talked about him. He's in 16th. Michael Waite now 17th. Tristan Beast 18th. Ralph Vander Vorst, he is 1 lap down, the only truck a lap down, and 19th. And 20th is Michael Waters.
Rest of these drivers, multiple laps down, still 2 laps down for Keith Butt, who runs 21st, and for Dylan Phillips, who runs in 22nd. Behind them, drivers behind the wall. 23rd, Randy Yoakum out of this race. So is Bobby Harmon in 24th, and the same story for James Nunn, all the way at the back in P25. That's a look top to bottom at your iRacing, the Midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, you can visit iRacing.com and sign up today for a limited time. You can go to iRacing.com/World of Outlaws and take advantage of some exclusive promo codes. You can get yourself on iRacing with a 1-year membership for now half off, or if you simply want to give iRacing a try, you can get 3 months of membership for less than $5. Again, that's at iRacing.com/ World of Outlaws. We're at lap number 76, and we will take this opportunity to step aside. We will go LSRTV nonstop, so you don't miss a moment of the action. Aaron Bennett cruising in control. He leads lap number 77 at our Chicago 200. You're watching the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series on LSR TV and iRacing Live. Welcome back to the Chicagoland Speedway, closing in on the lap number 100 mile marker. When we get to lap number 100, we will be at 33 laps to go, but only one lap away from 50 laps to go. Longest green flag stretch to this point, as Aaron Bennett in front by 1.7 seconds. As we stepped aside, though, it was Bobby Terrell who was running in second. He's going to be fifth the next time by Atkins, Foudy, and just now, Justin Michael putting it to him on the inside of the racetrack, and it dropped the 94 back 3 spots to P5.
Yeah, and as the 94 kind of starts to fall off, the 44 starts to get stronger. But just as I was about to say, pits are going to start. Justin Michael is going to be the first to come down pits for his pits. He's going to come down at a slow 50 miles an hour from about 180 and get service. This is going to be the start of all the stops here, Evan.
Yeah, and the 87 trying to get the short pit may not be a bad idea. Getting a jump on the guys like Bennett, Atkins, Foudy, and Terrell, who, when he ducked down to the pit lane, they were already past that point. Question is, who comes down this time? Now that the pit road is open, answer is going to be probably most drivers. Bennett down pit road. Atkins going to stay out. Foudy going to stay out, but Terrell in as well. Gillenwater stays out, but drivers first and fourth are in.
Yeah, and you got to imagine that some of these guys are going to want to come in a lot later and see what their chances are of getting a caution. I know that Seth Foudy and Atkins might want to try that. And they haven't been up towards the front the entire race, but once they were up there, they were at least able to hold on to it for just a little bit. So those are your provisional leaders at the time. but it does look like Foudy's going to come in along with Atkins, along with Gillenwater, along with Mullen. It looks like the next driver not to come in is Shane Hawther.
He will go P6 to P1 as this service going to be wrapped up almost very quickly, probably a 4 or 5 lap pit window, and that's all she's going to take. But more drivers down pit road. Obviously, the call's going to be as it has been all night long. 4 tires and fuel. I'm not sure that this is going to make it to the end, Coop, though. If we stay green, I think that we will have this and probably one more cycle of service still to come.
Yeah, since these guys pitted so closely together, it's not like you got a huge advantage. Again, looks like the number 11 of Shane Hawther does come down pit road this time by, and then Aaron Bennett, he will get the provisional lead back once he passes all these guys off pit road, gets by Seth Foudy on the inside, and they're not even up to speed yet, and he's already blowing right by him. That just shows you how much speed he had coming into the pits as well. So much time can be lost and gained coming on and off pit road, and yeah, there's a big difference right now between the 3 and all the other drivers. He did not have a mistake this time, as Justin Michael looks to be second, as the number 3 should regain the lead this time.
Take a look at the scoring pylon, get to see how all of this gets cycled through. And Kleber in the Bernani 3 scored in control at the moment. You've got Formosa P2, Dwayne Dunn P3. Waiting to see Aaron Bennett, where he mixes out in this thing. 24 seconds. Back is the gap, and that's about how much time it's going to take then to get it down from speed, get on pit road, get out and get back going. 21 seconds. So 3 seconds every single time around on fresh tires. The guys up front, though, maybe with the exception of Kleber, who started 13th position, and I don't think he was in that tough of a spot. But, you know, for the guys like Formosa, Dunn, and Wade, who started 26, 21, and 19, what these guys are doing is they're hoping for a yellow to help them out in the strategy game, because I think that's really the only reason you would stay out and lose 3 seconds every single time around the racetrack, just like that Bennett now, inside of 19 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds is just very drastic. It's not like it's like maybe 1, maybe 2 per lap. It's 3. And if you continue to go, it's only going to be about 7, 8 laps, probably less, because each lap he's going to fall off quite tremendously. It's not going to be long before that 3 starts to catch these guys, and he's already 2.5 seconds, his biggest lead over everybody else behind him. So that 93 definitely is a playoff picture. Oh, he's in the outside wall, actually, in turns number 4. 93 in the outside wall.
The problems for Kleber, we know that he's on old tires, and it's probably not going to be the best handling truck in the world, but finding problems on the entry to corner 3. I think he just kind of got too high up on the fence. It's not like he, was tight and pushed up there. I think he was just trying to ride the fence there, Coop, and once that truck gets on the wall, it's very difficult to get it off, and that's where the damage really comes from, and that's only going to cost him more time in the overall spectrum of things, as Scott Formosa has gone pit side to get service. So we await only Kleber and Dunn 1-2, and Kleber way off pace again.
Yeah, he's actually going to lose that lead, and looks like or he not quite yet, but he's going to lose it soon, whether it's to Dunn or Bennett here in the next few laps. It looks like he's going to stick to his guns at this point. You know, he's already out. He does have the damage. I'd say once you got the damage, you might as well come in, but it seems like he's got a plan. And maybe he's thinking that all these other guys will at least have to pit one more time, perhaps, and he's thinking he only has to pit once and can maybe split this in half. That way he doesn't have to come down pit road twice. I think that the thing is if he didn't hit that wall, that was going to be a great plan, but that really has hindered his progress, as he's already within the 10-second gap between himself and Aaron Bennett. I'd say it's a good try, and he's the only one trying it, and it'll be interesting to watch, but that truck is just really slow right now.
Yeah, and sooner or later, this is going to hurt you again. If Bennett gets up to him and passes him, having come down pit road, that means that, that's about a 30-second process or so. Then Kleber's losing a lot of time, and he's going to end up off of the lead lap by the time he does decide to come down pit road. Or the end game could be, I was talking about guys having to come back down pit road, Coop. If our leaders do have to come back down pit road one more time after just completing this cycle, the 93 could be stretching it to make this green flag stretch a possible 1 stop to the end instead of a 2, and that might be the end game.
Yeah, these guys do have limited fuel cells. So if you're used to driving these trucks, it's not going to be the norm. 93 does look like he's going to be low on the track, so this might be his time to come down for the pits, and it is. 93, Justin Cleaver's going to come down. Looks like Michael Waters is also down. He's looking for that caution flag more than likely. So Aaron Bennett, he's going to come across the start-finish line, and he will be your leader over Justin Michael by 3.8 seconds.
So talk about cutting the gap through that cycle. It is now down to 3.8 seconds between Aaron Bennett and Justin Michael 1-2. That's less than half of what the gap was before. And, you know, I don't think Bennett really had a lot of problems on pit road, maybe a little bit slow on and off, but green flag pit stops are something that is very often overlooked as far as just how much time you can gain and or lose, how hard you drive it onto the pit lane, how easy you take it coming off a pit road, trying to blend back up in traffic, and it takes a lot of those to make up about 6 seconds in an exchange, but Michael's there, and he appears to be holding that gap 3.8 seconds back as opposed to making up a lot of time then losing it. It looks pretty stable at the moment.
Yeah, but with that big of a gap, it's just, unless he gets like a really big break from the 3 or feeds off someone else's misfortune, a caution comes out, that's just a brutal lead to try and chop down. I mean, even if you get to 10th per lap, it's going to be really difficult for the 87 to get there. But we've seen it happen before where a driver just starts to really I mean, there's an age-old saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, it's one bite at a time. So perhaps Justin Michael can start getting some faster laps, lap after lap, and possibly when he comes down for pit stops, possibly one more time, he can really get the edge the next time they come down.
Something else that has happened on this green flag stretch is the fact that we've lost a lot of trucks off of the lead lap, about 6 of them from when the cycle started, down to 13. And again, part of that is because we saw a lot of drivers from the tail end of, around maybe 15th position decide to stay out, try to bank on maybe getting a caution flag, and they have better tires now. Still not sure if that really means they're going to be able to, catch up to Aaron Bennett, unlap themselves. You've got Michael Waters catching up to number 55, but he's 3 laps down in 20th spot. You got Scott Formosa, and then you'll find Justin Michael, who runs in second, still at that 3.8 second disadvantage. But there's a handful of guys really tight now on falling off of the lead lap. Herring, Hawthorne, Priester, final 3 drivers, more than 20 seconds off of the top spot. And if we do go through another cycle, at risk of falling off of the lead lap. This time around, though, Aaron Bennett going to complete 150 miles. He gets sent to complete lap number 100, taking 33 to go.
I've been watching the battle for P3, and it's starting to heat up a little bit. Looks like South Fowdy's touching the 44 every other lap. Had to deal with some lap traffic, so that really hindered him quite a bit. That 22 of Fowdy, definitely thinking he has like a late-run car at this point in the game, and with maybe one more stop limit, we really don't know, because the limited fuel cell really kind of puts a wrench on your fuel mileage. You can't really just say it's going to last a third, or a third of the regular mileage, but it actually looks like Atkins going to start pulling away from the 22 and really start setting his sights on Justin Michael, and it appears that he's starting to get him a little bit each lap.
And that's going to be the key. These guys now have an idea of, what it is to run an entire green flag stretch. We hadn't had that up until this point, so now you kind of know how you have to pace yourself over the course of a run, and the runs really weren't that long, to the point where I think that there was a lot of difference between who was quick at a short run, who was quick at a long run. We did see, though, Terrell really struggle on the long run, and he's not really necessarily killing it right now, falling now to 7th position in the Muscle Milk entry.
Yeah, we saw him do so well early on. It is a shame for that team to have another driver behind him also getting on the back door. That's Ricky Howell Jr. And See that 18 truck probably trying to do something just quite different. These two are not chase drivers, so every position kind of matters each and every race. Just a little bit more pride for you and your team. Is he going to go on the inside this time on the backstretch and possibly be able to get the pass done? The top side's actually kind of been the place to be for that 94, but doesn't really look like it's going to be a factor, as we do have a one car coming down pit road, and actually it's going to be no matter. Caution flag is out on the speedway.
And that's going to completely change the complexion of this race. Caution's out. It is for Tristan Beats in the number 99 Chevrolet. He is turned around on the back straightaway. This one going to be a single truck accident.
Yeah, replay coming up here in just a moment. And you're watching the 90 just get real loose and then kind of snaps and then just crawls up the track, gets real loose and just spins out on the raceway. So kind of interesting one. It was really long. You don't really see from turn 2 almost all the way to turn 3 that the truck finally spins out. So interesting for that number 99 to get all the way to turn 3 and finally spin out.
Now there is no question of what's going to happen with pit road, because pit road is going to be open, and if history is an indicator of what's going to happen, we will see trucks on pit road this time. Bennett, Atkins, Michael, Foudy, Simley, if that 44 just happened to find something that was able to allow him to hold about a 4-second gap to the race lead, now is the time to try to utilize it. But you see this, they are stuck behind some lap cars in quarter 4, and that's going to be a big gap to the 3 down pit road.
Yeah, you see them on the gas as much as possible, but look at that huge advantage that they have, or that Bennett has. It's just Bennett. Behind him is Beats. So 3, if he knows that, or if he's thinking that, got the crew telling him he just needs to be easy on the entrance and then easy on the exit, and he'll be the leader without a doubt. He's just got to actually make the pit stop happen and get out. Which the hard part's happened, getting in his pit box. But the 87 had that problem, and he went through his pit box a little bit.
Putting machine going to roll out of pit road, and it is going to be uncontested. Aaron Bennett going to be able to nail off a cycle of green for caution flag service. Following some green flag service, maintain his top position. It's going to be Atkins, Michael, Foudy, and Howell off of the pit lane. So inside of 30 laps to go as we pace, we will step aside one more time and go LSRTV non-stop so you miss none of the action. When we come back, it's going to be a late race restart. It could be the final one on the night. You're watching the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series at LSRTV, the Chicago 200.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them for a breast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
As we welcome you back live to Joliet, Illinois, tonight's coverage of the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series is brought to you by BNC. Based in Frankfort, Delaware, you can check out BNC for all your landscaping needs, including turf care, mulching, snow removal, and more. They are professional, licensed and insured. For more information, you can contact Aaron Bennett today at bc_lawn_and_landscaping at yahoo.com for more information. Also want to give a call to Joel Real Timing Coverage. Tonight's USR BNC Lawn and Landscape and Truck Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. Whether you spend your time on the sim, behind the wheel, on the pit box, or from the spotter stand, JRT is your go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. You can get yourself a basic download or get the pro version today at joel-real-timing.com. With all of that, we are due up for a restart. 25 laps to go. Question becomes, do we get 25 laps of green flag racing? Aaron Bennett wants to take off and get away. What was a 10-second advantage that became a 4-second advantage is now nothing. Side by side at a quarter number 4 with Michael Atkins Jr. on the door. Green flag flies, but a good jump for the 3. Bennett off and away.
Yeah, another great start. Inside lines, definitely where you want to be, no matter where you're at. Look at the 87. He's going to have a good jump on the inside. They're 2x2. And looks like the outside 44, Michael Atkins, he's not going to be able to hold on for another spot. 18's going to have the advantage coming down the straightaway. And look at them go all the way to the bottom. 22's thinking about 3 wide here down the back straightaway. And stretch, I should say. And it's going to think better of it. But they're very nose to tail here in turns number 4.
Everybody tightly packed together. It's been a while since we've had a restart like this, and obviously heavy traffic on the racetrack is going to keep everybody on their toes. You got Michael Howell, Feldy, Atkins, Terrell, everybody lined up, and at the moment, though, no side by side as they try to cycle through the corner. Bennett trying to get away from all of this. Looks like Justin Michael's going to be okay from second. Howell might have a fight for third on his hands, but I think that 3 machine trying to scoot away.
Yeah, we've seen him do it all night. 15 laps to go at the line, and these guys are starting to string themselves out just a little bit. It's almost who has the short run truck at this point. I know the 22 didn't have it earlier, but once again, we have another caution. Looks like it's going to be the 93 of Justin Kleiber. He has a blown engine and a broken axle. So double whammy for him, and oh my goodness, I don't know what happened just on the straightaway. Something must have happened. That car turned straight right.
Oh. Yeah, had some help, and it was strange. I think the 39 machine on the outside of Dwayne Dunn was expecting him to go down. It was 2x2, and the 39 went to follow the 80 machine in front of him, assuming that the 33 was, on the inside of the racetrack was going to be following the 33, and he did not go to the apron and hooked him, and it was pretty good lick. Absolutely junked that 93.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said. There was room to the apron, but that doesn't mean you have to go there. And 2 chase drivers are going to have to really talk about this one after it's over, because that's not the first time we've seen it, but that has the most impact for the 93. That and on the track and in the points. I mean, that's going to be a huge hit. But the 93 tried to be as conservative as possible, I think, for this race. This is really kind of an unfortunate run. I really don't have anything else for it. I mean, it's just kind of 2 drivers meet in the middle, but I think the 93 or the 39 definitely could have moved up the track just a little bit.
And with that, another short run. Pit stops in order once again. You have to think, if somebody is going to bank on a lot of those very short runs with cautions, does somebody stay out? Does somebody go with 2 tires? It really hasn't been a thing that has happened all night long. Bennett brought him down, though. Again, so critical for this 3 to be able to maintain the race lead off the pit road. He is going to go with 4 tires once again, and he is not going to win the battle off the pit road. A handful of drivers are going to go 2 tires. He will be about 4th off.
Yeah, I think he might beat Ricky Howell Jr. off, but look at those 2 guys in front of him, Gillenwater and Chris Kivu. They both get 2 tires, and actually, you're right. He does get beaten by Howell Jr., which at the later stages in the races, do you really want to start 4th when the inside's been so good on these restarts?
And yeah, the 3's been good. I think if there's anybody who is going to have to start in traffic and they'll be okay, it would be Aaron Bennett. But at the same time, he would like to start out front and get going, because I think the biggest concern for the 3 now is not not being in the race lead. Obviously, it would be nice. He's going to be behind Howell, Gillenwater, Gabot, assuming that those guys all decide to stay out and, maybe one or two of them doesn't decide to trickle back down pit road before we go back green. I don't think that's the concern. I think that the 3 Chevrolet is faster than them, and he can beat them at this point in the race. But the thing that concerns me is that he's going to be in traffic. Cautions breed cautions late, and I think that that's what the 3 is going to have to keep an eye on.
Something that is nice, though, is he would be second. If the race was to end now, he'd be second in the chase grid, which isn't a bad thing. Of course, with as well as he's been doing, he wants to be up there. So if he can get around Gillenwater and do that, which he's going to be in the starting in the same row, I think he'd at least be a little bit happy, knowing that, like you said, cautions breed cautions, and starting on the outside might not be the best thing. I do believe that the 3 truck has been able to navigate through traffic pretty well, especially in the early goings in a run. 4 tires, I think we'll get him that. But with less than 10 laps to go, or not less than 10 laps to go, with about 20 laps to go, I think he's got enough time to get around these guys.
Only one way to find out is going to be to double them up and send them. A couple of waybys this time. Michael Waters going to get back to the lead lap. He will stay out and go from 1 lap down to the lead lap in 17th. Dwayne Dunn, same thing in 16th position. So 17 trucks going to be on the lead lap for this ensuing restart. And not that I think someone's going to put up a challenge for the race lead from 17th, but does add a little bit more action throughout the field in this one. So everybody going to get waved by this time, not only those 2 drivers, but also looks like Ralph van der Vorst are going to get a wave by. Dylan Phillips going to go 2 laps down to 1 lap down. Keith Bunt going to go 3 laps down to 2 laps down. Those guys might just come up a little bit shy of getting all the way back to the lead lap, but nonetheless going to get in this thing. So first time tonight, Chris Cabot is going to be in control of the field, started 15th and actually rolled from qualifying in 12th, but was 15th in practice. We'll see what he can do.
I do like this call, though, from these guys up front. I mean, the 2 guys that aren't in the chase, they can stay at the bottom and not really have any issues, except for maybe getting the 87's way here at the beginning. But they only ran maybe, I think, 2 laps before that came out. I mean, you really didn't run that much. But I think it's going to get you in the long run. If we were to 10 laps, I think that'd be the perfect call to make. So I think it's not going to last for quite for the rest of the run, but for maybe a little bit, they can maybe hold off for another quick yellow, and then maybe everyone comes down pit road again. We'll have to see.
Pace car in this time. Let's find out what this race is going to have in store for us into the closing moments. Gabot, great restart. American Ethanol, green flag. There's nowhere for Aaron Bennett to go. The 4 Gillenwater caught sleeping on the outside of the racetrack. Bennett boxed in. He'll get passed by Michael on the restart.
And that's what I was afraid of, is the 3 not having anywhere to go. And Gillenwater, he's going to have 2 hard chargers on the inside with 4 fresh ones. 3, yeah, it's going to be 3 wide on the back stretch. And they're going to go it. They're going to keep going. And no backing down at this point. You're number 3 in the middle. And it's going to settle out to 2 wide. Justin Michael is going to be able to get that 2 position. Look at him. He's been up there all day fighting and digging hard. And he's finally up to P2. This is really where you want to be. Trying to take that number 3, and then the 3 almost gets in contact with the 4 of Gillenwater. He's going to drop back.
Blow that time off for the corner on the outside, and there's a lot going on right now. That 5 of Gabot lost the race lead. He is 3rd. The battle for the race lead is getting further and further away from Aaron Bennett. It's been an atrocious restart. Side by side for the race lead. Howell on the outside. Justin Michael gonna make a move to the inside of the racetrack. Inside of 20 laps to go from Chicago, door to door in corner 1.
Oh, 18 benched him hard in turns number 1, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think he's going to have to push off the corner. They door slam. What are you doing, 18? That's a crazy hit, and I don't know whether it's one or the other, whether they both met, but goodness, that was close. Those two could have just taken each other out.
Oh, and another hit this time. These guys are going at it side by side at a 4. It would have been a drag race to the start-finish line. 1/100th in favor of Justin Michael. That time, tight in the corner. He does not want to give Michael any room on the inside, and what this is going to do is bring Michael Atkins Jr. into the picture. Big run for the 44 Chevrolet from 3rd. He'll look to go to P2 as Howell now finally gets clear.
Oh, wow. I don't know if that's going to settle well with the 87 at all, but he got the mission. You can't blame him. Doesn't matter if you're in the chase or not, as long as you don't wreck the guy, and he did it. He did it fair and square, and I think Justin Michael may have burned up his tires a little bit. Look at the 44 trying the inside line. It's not going to quite work. Getting closer and closer to 10 to go here on the back straightaway. 2 wide. Look at the 44. Look at the 94. Bobby Terrell, where'd he come from? He was towards the back, towards the middle part of this race.
Here comes Bobby late in this race. Terrell trying to make something happen, but there's a roadblock in front of him in 2nd and 3rd. He'll go 3 wide. Try to look top, but I'm not sure that's going to work. Here comes Seth Foudy. Here comes Aaron Bennett. It is a 5-truck dash for 2nd on track as Howell pulls out 0.4 of a second in front of him.
These guys battling is exactly what Ricky Howell needs to see, and they're going to see if they can go 3 wide. It's not going to quite be the option that they're going to want. The 3 of Aaron Bennett, he needed that a lot from the bad restart. He had started 2nd all the way back down to 6th place. He's going to be on the outside and see if that's going to work out. Look 2 wide for the 3rd spot as looks like Michael Atkins Jr. is going to also play spoiler to these chase drivers. He's going to be able to clear these guys, and I think the 87 car, he's going to get passed up by the 94 on the outside, and maybe the 22 on the inside.
Yeah, the 3 is looking for a way by, and I don't think that he wants to force the 3 wide because, again, he wants the truck to stay at about a piece, but we're going to be at 11 laps to go. This time by, and he's almost a second off of the top spot. He'll get a position this time from Foudy, and he'll get a position from the 87 to Justin Michael. Still trying to clear the 22. Foudy not going to give up. It's a battle for 4th and 5th, and he's not going to get it. In front of these guys, though, 1, 2, 3. Howell, Atkins, and Terrell due up for a good battle.
Yeah, and look at the guys behind him. It's almost like non-chasers versus chasers. Oh, look at the 22. He gets hit by the 3 in the corner, and he moves him up the track. He's going to try and get that position. That was a hard move by the 3 to make, but he has to make it with only 10 laps to go. This is what you got to do in order to win a championship. He's the first championship driver on the track right now, so he would get the first position. He'd also get the most laps led, most definitely at the end of this one. He's got to hunt these guys down if he wants to win. Oh, look at the contact for the lead position. And he's going to come across the guys in front, and it's got a huge pile in front of him. No, they're going to be able to get out of the way.
Race leaders wreck down the back straightaway. Caution flag is out with 9 laps to go. We'll take a second look at the LSRTV replay. It started with the bobble from the 18. Howell stepped it up the hill, got out of shape, and when he tried to hang on to that truck, it actually snapped back down the hill, clipped Michael Atkins, and Atkins back up on track. A huge hit to the 18. All 3 of your race leaders involved in that one. Atkins, Howell, and Terrell going to get involved. I think the race lead might just end up in favor of the number 94. We will find out as we come to the pace car under yellow. What a run that'll set us up for what we expect to be trip down to the pit lane with, in all honesty, the strategy wide open at this point, and a restart due up with maybe 5 laps to go.
You know, I better believe that was incredible that those chase drivers had not got into it. But whether you take 2 or 4, I think you got to take 4. 18's gonna stay out despite damage on his truck. So this is gonna be an interesting restart once again. But let's see what these drivers take forward too. And I think if you take 2, you're gonna be out there towards the front. But it depends on how many other drivers are gonna take 2 with you. That's going to help you out. So I think the 3, he's got to take 2, I think, at this point. It's going to be the biggest help. And he goes through his box. This is, oh no, Aaron Bennett goes through his box.
You can't afford it, and it wasn't even close. Maybe he has to take 2 tires now because 4 would have cost him so much time. No, he will commit to the 4 tires. Not only is that going to be a long stop on the pit lane, but it's going to cost him some time. Does it cost him a position? 2 spots. He'll lose from it. Off of pit road, Foudy and Michael. Drag race won by the 87.
And guess where he's going to start, Evan? He's going to start in 4th place again. if the 18 does not come down pit road. So that's where he was last time. This is really heating up to be quite an interesting race. It's almost unpredictable at this point, but I say the guy in the best seat at this point, I think, actually is going to be the 22. Hasn't won all season, but he will be behind the leader when he goes. The only thing about it, though, is the 18 has a massive amount of damage and did not take tires. I think the 18 is definitely not going to be a factor, but it depends on if he comes down pit road, and it does look like he is going to do so. 18 is going to have to surrender the lead, which means that the 80, or the it looks like the 87, Justin Michael will actually get the lead for the first time today.
Howell down pit road. I think that's not the call that he needed. Obviously, he was running in 4th position after the incident, and I think that after he stayed out, I think he had to commit to it. I don't think he was going to win the race either way, but now pitting's going to put him outside the top 15 probably.
Yeah, and maybe thinking that giving the lead up is going to be the more of giving this race back to the Chasers or something like that. Maybe that's what that team is thinking, because I've been in that position before, and the last thing you want to do is ruin a championship, especially on championship night number 1. Any of them is a bad one to do it, but I think with the 3 guys, new tires, no damage on their trucks. I mean, that 18 took a huge lick. All 3 of them did on getting ready to go into turns 3. So I think it's a wise idea. I think it's also a very sportsmanlike call. I think if he stayed out, it would have been one of those deals where you can't blame the guy for trying to go for the win, but you have a truck that's definitely not going to make it to the finish.
We'll find out just how many laps are going to be left in this thing this time by. Keeping an eye to see if the lights on top of the pace car do go out. And right now we work lap number 127, I believe it is. And find out, looks like the 22 going to pull alongside, lights out on top of the pace car. So we will come to the green flag approaching lap number 129. It is going to be a 5 lap to go restart. We could junk it right off for the restart, and this race would end under caution flag conditions. 5 laps inside of the go or go home, the do or die window in this race, where you wouldn't have an opportunity to go through a cycle of pit stops and get a green flag once again. So the next yellow ends this race. Or we could have exciting racing like we saw in that last run and survive 5 laps. Here how they're going to line up. It's going to be Michael and Foudy on row 1, Bennett, Simley, row 2, Gillenwater, Hawther, row 3, Gabot and Mall on row 4, with Formosa and Herring inside of the top 10, still 18 trucks lead lap.
And I'll tell you, where did Scott Simley come from? He's been kind of at the back for quite some time, so I think Simley and Gillenwater have kind of had their up and down seasons. And now they had an up-down-down race. So this is really the up portion of it. This may be our last restart. If we get a caution within 1 lap, we may have a 1-lap shootout. But this very well could be our last restart of the night. And expect big things from it.
We get to the stripe, I think that it will be the last one. Michael wastes absolutely no time. American Ethanol green flag flies. 5 laps to go from Chicagoland. Foudy going to be able to maintain P2 for the outside of the front row. And that's big, I think, for Justin Michael out in front, because it means Bennett going to be 3rd through the corner.
Yeah, look at him. He's going to try the very outside. He's going to cross him over, and he's going to drive him all the way down to the bottom of the track, and this opens the door for the 3 behind him. Seth Foudy to the lead off of a huge run at the back. The 87 just does not have it in the cards. He's going to go all the way back to 3rd, coming out of turns number 4.
And I think the 3 is the best truck in this battle. I'm not sure Seth Foudy is going to be able to hold him off. And I thought the best news for Michael was that the 22 and the 3 fight for 3rd and 2nd behind and let him get away. But now it's Michael trying to play catch up. And here comes Aaron Bennett. Best truck all night. Going to have to come through some late race adversity. This time in turn 3. Going to complete lap number 130. 3 laps to go. He's still on the decklet as Foudy hanging on.
I don't think he wants to make the move quite just yet. I think he's going to wait till his best corner, which is coming right up. He's got the most speed out of 1 and 2. So if he waits just a little bit, he may be able to make it out of turns 2 and basically be able to almost clear him. But it doesn't appear that he has the advantage. He's actually maybe slipping in just a little bit. Or perhaps he's just waiting till the last lap. That way there's no contest.
Popsicle 6 going to be in the air. 2 laps to go this time by. There's a battle going on for third behind. It's Michael Simley at ball at 4th and 5th, but Bennett needs something. And in all honesty, Seth Feldy's had a good truck tonight, Coop. Started third. He's been up there all night, but he hasn't looked very good on these restarts. Here comes the 3 of Bennett, trying to get to him with a lap and a half to go.
Evan, he's getting close and ever so closer, but I think even if he gets under him, I think that 22 is in the perfect spot. He's going to have 1 lap to go, and he's almost going to spin him. He's so close. And it's going to be in the inside. 1 lap to go.
Final 1.5 miles, and Bennett can't get the positioning. How physical do you get? When we get back to corners 3 and 4, Feldy's protecting the inside. It's going to be hard for the 3 to get down there. Final time down the back straightaway from Chicago, and the 22 has a truck length advantage. Seth Feldy on a 5 lap to go restart. Can he hang on? Bennett gonna get a run, but it's not gonna be enough. Too little, too late. Checkered flag. Seth Feldy wins from Chicago.
First win of the season, and when would you want it the most? Right at the beginning of the chase. This is a huge momentum builder for that 22 team. Kind of a bummer for that 3 not to get the win for as strong as he was all day, but at the same time, he still got a 2nd place finish, still in a really good position to move on.
A spectacular finish to this one, and again, Seth Feldy was saving the best for last. And gets the job done on that final restart. He had Aaron Bennett absolutely all over him, and really nobody had anything for Bennett all night except for the final restart. The 22 made that truck wide, took the preferred lane away, in a well-deserved celebration on the front straightaway as Seth Feldy, one of your championship 12, gets the win. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 tonight to all chase drivers. When it's all said and done, and they're going to be sitting pretty now with one of these opening 3 races completed in the opening round of this championship. Well, get reactions from Feldy, Bennett, and Simley, the rest of your championship drivers, in just a moment. But as we step aside one final time tonight before that. So we'll step aside and we will be right back to the Chicagoland Speedway on the other side. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the United Sim Racing, BNC, Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series, and iRacing Live post-race coming up.
There are 3 different paths if you want to call yourself a world champion of sim racing. NASCAR, open wheels, or endurance racing. But no matter which one you take, you can guarantee that the journey will always be tough, which few will ever complete. The iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, the premier road racing series in sim racing, started with a new car taking center stage. Then, it was Martin Kroenke resisting any challenge thrown at him to break the 5-year stranglehold of Gregor Hutu as being world champion. These drivers and teams are not just competing for pride, they're competing for money. And with over $20,000 in prizes for each of the series up for grabs, drivers really do put it all on the line.
The NASCAR Beginner for Series, powered by iRacing, is the premier NASCAR eSports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a 3-time Oval World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy, though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign.
The Blancpain GT Series hosts the top GT3 endurance teams in sim racing, with groups of 3 or more drivers sharing the wheel. This is a championship you can't win alone, and you need the same determination, passion and drive from your teammates to be successful. They often say that it takes just one mistake to lose a championship, and in team racing, it may not be your mistake that costs you the win. Last season, VRS Coanda Simsport won the championship by a single point. This year, who will step up to the plate?
These are the iRacing Esport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. Catch it all season long with live coverage on iracing.com/live.
Welcome back live to the Chicagoland Speedway. The dust has settled following an extremely exciting end to this Chicago 200. We now have 21 races complete on this 2017 campaign, and we can officially say that we are now in the chase for the championship. We'll go trackside and talk with the top finishers in just a moment. Before that, we take a look at tonight's LSRTV full race results. Foudy, Bennett, Simley going to come home 1-2-3. We will be trackside with them momentarily. Just behind there, Justin Michael, who started on pole position tonight, ends up at 4th place. And from 22nd to 5th, biggest mover, Greg Mull, inside of the top 5. The 6th place result good for Robert Gillenwater. Shane Hawther is going to be able to make his way up to 7th before this one's said and done. Chris Cabot just behind him at 8th. Stephen Herring comes home 9th position, and Michael Waters rounds out your top 10.
Finishing 11th with Michael Priester, and then Michael Waite. He finished in that 12th position. Scott Formosa, he finished 13th with Dylan Phillips, finishing 14th. Dwayne Dunn right behind him, 15th. Bobby Terrell goes all the way back to 16th after a really good run in the middle runs of the race. Ricky Howell Jr., 17th. Michael Atkins is the last car on the lead lap, 18th. Keith Butt finishes 2 laps down. Ralph Vander Vorst, he wrecked with 4 laps to go, finishing 20th.
The rest of these drivers finished this race on the pit lane or behind the wall. They were not on track at the end of it. Justin Kleber, 21st. Tristan Beats, 22nd. Randy Oakham, 23rd. Bobby Harmon, 24th. And James Nunn in the number 25 spot. That is a look top to bottom at your LSRTV full race results. The topic of conversation is going to be Seth Foudy. Put it to him late and got the job done. First win on 2017 as we go trackside next to your race winner tonight. Seth, congratulations. You guys get your first win on 2017, and I don't think it could come at a better time.
Oh my goodness, what an awesome night, Evan. Man, it was some crazy racing out there. It was fast, and it got a little slick for sure.
You guys were up there in it all night, and in all honesty, I think Aaron Bennett looked like that he had you guys on these restarts. He had the best truck, but your best lap of the race came on that restart, lap number 130. That was your best lap all night long, and you were able to hold them out off, against all honesty. I think that we were kind of expecting Aaron to get you there on the bumper. He was right up you for 3 laps, and that 22 machine just would not give it up. Talk us through that final 5 lap to go battle.
Yeah, definitely. And just like you said, Aaron had one heck of a fast race truck tonight. I mean, he'd get out front, and I mean, nobody could touch him. So I definitely knew that keeping him behind was my only chance at winning the race tonight. But yeah, on the restart there, just I knew I was going to drive it hard. I struggled in 1 and 2 all night long, it seemed like, and it wasn't even getting slick coming out of 2 that was the problem. It was just literally I just was hitting the entrance and coming out wrong. But I just drove it in really hard there towards the end, tried to make it stick, and it did. I tried to keep it as low as I possibly could because I didn't want to give anything up for him to come up under the bottom there. And, man, it just worked out perfect. I mean, I think I started to pull away from him there a little bit in 3 and 4 on the final lap. But, man, what a race, man. I'm, like, sweating like crazy. It was a lot of fun for sure.
Tell you what, we enjoyed it. There was a couple of those late race restarts where you guys were just absolutely going at it, and at one point where the three drivers who were leading at that time all ended up taking each other out, and kind of really shuffled up the running order there on what ended up being the final caution flag of this race. Earlier on in this, we spent a lot more time than we did towards the end talking about the non-chase competitors, mixing it up front. When it's all said and done tonight, 9 of the top 10 are chase competitors. So we know that this is going to be a very competitive, obviously, chase for the championship. Guys are going to be cut from this championship fight in now 2 weeks' time. You're going to be able to come out of here, though, on top of that pile. What kind of confidence does that give you going into New Hampshire, and maybe try to how you attack that race and maybe try to points race a little bit?
Well, I got to be honest with you. It's been a pretty rough season, and being able to come away with a win tonight is definitely something that builds confidence for sure. I've been wanting this really bad, and I think I've even kind of screwed up a little bit here and there in some of the races I've had prior to this one. But coming in, knowing it was the chase and things like that, I just definitely wanted to kind of get my head back into it and try to put a win on for the beginning here. There's definitely some super tough competition. I feel good about New Hampshire for next week. Last season in the chase, I actually won that race, so hopefully maybe can carry over, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, confidence level definitely at a high, big time.
I know a lot of people talk about momentum and such, and I think that this was a statement race for you guys. Top 5 in practice, top 5 in qualifying. You take home the win when it's all said and done. You held off who I think was the best truck all night long. You didn't even give him a chance to get to your inside there. It was a spectacular finish. Saturday night was a well-deserved victory, so congratulations to you on that. Before we let you take off, the sponsors, the shout-outs, anybody you want to say hi to?
Yeah, definitely had SpongeBob on the truck tonight. I've been running the SpongeBob scheme here lately. Got my little boy on the back of it, so it's pretty exciting to put one away for him. Definitely want to thank my Lord and Savior. I want to thank my family for allowing me to be on here. My wife, she's an awesome supporter with me on here sim racing. I want to thank everybody that watches the broadcast. You guys are awesome, and it makes it exciting to have you guys be a part of everything. Supporting LSRTV and United Sim Racing. But I also want to thank you guys. You guys do an amazing job in the booth every week. And man, you guys, it's so professional watching you guys do this. So thank you so much. And that's everybody.
Well, I'll tell you what we tell everybody. When you guys put on action like that on the track, it makes our job easy. So thanks to you guys for putting on a show tonight. I know everybody enjoyed it. Seth, again, congratulations on the win. Best of luck. Hopefully we'll be able to chat with you next week. We'll see you there.
Thanks a lot, Evan. Appreciate it.
That is your driver who takes home the opening win of this 2017 Chase for the Championship. Seth Feldy, win number 1 on 2017, has him at the top of the championship standings with 2 races to go in the round of 12. Aaron Bennett, Scott Simley, 2 names that were right in the thick of things late. And trackside with your second and third place finishers is going to be Austin Coop. First, though, caught up with Aaron Bennett.
Here with Aaron Bennett. Aaron, you had, without a doubt, the fastest truck. You pulled the biggest leads, but when it came to the end, you just came a tenth short. And you kind of got caught up in some other people's messes, getting behind on the outside. You started P4 with 2 on the second to last restart. And then on the last restart, you started in the same position. Was it those restarts that really made it happen, that really took it away from you at the end?
No, it was the third caution from the end. I had the perfect strategy laid out. I was going to pit with 110. That would have given me 23 laps to the end. Everybody was probably going to short pit sooner than that, and I had to race 1 there. That's what did it for me. That's how it goes, man. Every time I got the dominant truck, I got cautions, and it screws me over, and then something like that. But it's okay. Everything's great.
Yeah, though, famous saying, everything's great. But I'll tell you that if we see this kind of action from you tonight that we do next week, it's going to be a good show, and especially from everybody involved. I mean, you had a really, really fast truck all night. What is your New Hampshire program like, and are we going to see a really fast 3 truck there next week?
I don't think so. I've never been very good at New Hampshire. I look for a few of the other guys to be strong in New Hampshire. I know the 12's always good there, and I think the 22 won the race last year there. So I look for those two guys to be strong. Of course, the 87 and Jamie, he comes back next week too. He had family vacation this week, so he couldn't make the race. He's strong there too, but I think if I walk out of there with the top 5, I'll be happy.
Yeah, it almost would set you up for getting to the next round, and then you're obviously in a really good position to make that next round. Starting second place after this first race, and going on in the next 2 races will be pretty good for you guys. Now, before we let you go, Aaron, you any shout outs, any sponsors you'd like to give before we let you go?
On the hood, as always, B&C Lawn and Landscaping. That is me and a friend of mine's personal business. We sponsor the series. I thank Garrick Casal for letting me sponsor the league. I thank my teammates, Greg, Jamie, George, over at Young Guns Motorsports. Greg helped me out a little bit this week on some different things with the track, but we both feed off each other. He's usually better at fuel mileage than I am. I'm better on speed sometimes, but we've been feeding off each other and been putting good results on the racetrack. I said that's pretty much it. Hopefully one of these days we can turn these second place finishes into first place finishes.
Well, you guys definitely had speed and put on a really good show tonight for everyone involved, and we do thank you for your time, Aaron.
Yeah, sir. Thank y'all.
That second place finisher Aaron Bennett, and now we're going to go to the 68 of Scott Simley. Where did you come from, Scott? We saw you towards the front, towards the beginning of the race. Started in the 4th position, kind of lagged off a bit, and then you were in the top 10 for a good part of the race. And it was so much action up front, it was almost like you weren't even noticed until you were there in the top 3 at the finish of the race. What happened?
We had good qualifying, I guess, but obviously qualifying is screwed up with the setups. But It just how it worked out for me was it was really kind of a push after a while and get loose. And at the start of the race, after the first caution, I had contact coming on a pit road. I just checked up a little too much, and then I think Justin Michael got into the back of me, and sorry for that. I didn't mean for that to happen, but so we had a little bit of damage to fix on pit road, and I think that really hurt me the rest of the race because my spoiler was bent up, but. Other than that, for me, when we started running green laps, it would kind of get pushy and really loose, where other people were just like Aaron was fast. Well, even Seth was, and there was a lot of people. Justin was still fast, even though he must have a little damage on his nose, but just ran it hard. I don't know, this new tire model for me, it seems really loose. I hope it gets better, but other than that, I thought at the most, if we ran green, I probably was a top 5 truck, maybe, but it seemed like I really would fall off after that. Maybe 20 laps, 18 laps, it would really start falling off for me. I'd start losing speed. But other than that, there was some good racing out there.
Now you mentioned it that the trucks did get loose. It seemed like on the short runs they were real snug, right, kind of right exactly where you wanted to be. But it seemed at the beginning of the race, at least after we got about a few laps under our belts, and I started getting towards the 10-lap marker, they started to get real squirrely, especially at turns 4. Is that something that you're expecting to also be a factor next week?
Yeah, I suppose it could be. Like I said, it's with the new build and the new tire model, I hope it gets better maybe, but we'll have to see. It's kind of scary looking forward, but we'll take the good finish. Top 3 was. I just wanted a good finish tonight, and that's what happened. So we'll take her.
Well, championship driver in 3rd position. That's where you'll be in the championship after being in the first race. So in a good position going into New Hampshire. There's a lot of you stuck really close to each other. So definitely going to try and separate your guys' positions and points differentials away from each other. Before we let you go, of course, I want to give you a chance to give a shout out to anybody out there and sponsors, of course, as well.
Got to give a shout out to Seth. Pulling off that W, that's big. It's a good job. Aaron too made a good run. Teammate Bobby, Hippie's Paint Shop. Got to thank Aaron, Seth, and Cody, USR for putting on the show, and you guys, of course. Cisco, Evan, Austin, you guys do a great job, and got to thank family for giving the free time to do it, and just a lot of fun racing with these guys.
There you have it. 68 of Scott Simley. Thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. Well, there you have it, Evan. Top 3 finishers. I think 2 of them don't sound as happy as the other one.
Funny how that works out, right?
Yeah, a little odd. And they all sound a little winded, honestly, too.
Well, the thing about these races is, I think that if you finish second and third on a 75-lap green flag run, you kind of accept it. I know that nobody wants to finish way behind, but if you finish 7 seconds behind the guy who wins, you're kind of like, okay, I get it. But for Aaron Bennett, he had the best truck all night. I think for Scott Simley, and even guys like Justin Michael, Greg Mall, when it happens on a late race restart, you're going to be running that restart through in your head over and over. And I think they're kind of bummed because right now they're going through all these what if scenarios. What if I did this instead of this on the restart? Because any one of those guys had a shot at it at 5 to go.
And I think Aaron said it the best was, I asked him if it was those restarts that got him, and he gave me the very clear answer, no. It was that third to last restart because he had the game plan, and really that kind of messed up his game plan. He had it all planned out, was going to make it to the end, be on the freshest tires at the best points. Did have the one more pit stop, so we do have that confirmed. It was going to happen, at least for him in that 3 truck. But what could have should have been is just kind of one of those things where either that may help the 3 sleep tonight, but the only one who's going to sleep really well is that 22.
And he will go into New Hampshire as the driver at the top of the championship. That wraps things up here tonight from the Chicagoland Speedway. We hope to see you this upcoming week on LSRTV and iRacing Live. 4 nights of action due up for you. We have RSR Full Throttle Cup Series action on Monday. We also have Pit Mud Sprint Cars coming up coming up at the middle of the week. We've also have Super Speedway Cup Series in action, and of course we will wrap up your weekend on Saturday night for the second race of the championship. You can take a look at our website at www.livesimracing.com for a full look at our extended broadcast schedule, and you can stay up to date with us by keeping up with us on social media. That's a follow on Twitter at LSRTV. And you can also give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/LSRTV official, where you can also find live streaming races on Facebook Live. But with that being said, until next time, the Chicago 200 is coming to gone, and we now have 21 races on this 2017 campaign complete. On behalf of the entire team at LSRTV, for the folks behind the scenes, and for the team topside tonight, for myself, Evan Pasoko, for Austin Coop, and our producer, Cisco Scaramuza, I want to thank you all for joining us and hanging out, and congratulations to Seth Foudy, win number 1 on 2017. He is your championship leader as we head to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the second race of this 2017 USR Truck Series Chase for the championship. We will see you next week back here on LSR TV.